big sound in a small town, far away from the big city lights, making music every night. Good music with all our friends. Tell everybody, tell your mama and them, we're going out and we're getting down. A big sound in a small town. A big sound in a small town. A big sound in a small town. A big sound in a small town.
Ready, play.
My name is Spreitzer. I'm a songwriter out of Fort Mill, South Carolina. Originally was born in New York, but I'm really a Floridian. I moved when I was a youngster. My family moved to South Florida. I grew up there, went to college there, and then moved up to the Carolinas in the early 90s. Been a closet songwriter since I would say I was 20 years old. Probably wrote even before then. Picked
Right.
the guitar up at the age of 20.
Okay.
And writing ever since.
So you start doing that in college, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that happens a lot. You know, that,
Yeah.
that is a.
The seeker
It
era.
is. It is. You know, it really is. A lot of people do that. How far south Florida?
I grew up in Port St. Lucie.
Yeah,
where the
yeah,
Mets are now,
sure.
but it was so small there wasn't even a high school there when I grew up.
Really?
We had to go to the next town.
That was when Florida was fun.
Florida. It
Florida-
was a bit raw.
Florida is totally different these days.
It's very different.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You remember even the first song you ever wrote?
I think I do. The one that I remember, it was called. I can remember foolishly. It was called "Making County Dreams," and it was a story. It was a story song about
Right.
a guy moved from a couple who moved from a small town called Kathleen, Georgia. I looked at it on the map.
Right.
And I said, well, what they did was they got married and they moved to the big city of Macon.
Yeah.
And but it didn't work out, and so she went back to Kathleen, and he stuck. So that was the.
Sure.
I had the story, and then the funny part was Macon isn't in Macon County.
This is true. Yes.
Geographically, it's incorrect.
That's true. But you know, most people aren't aware of that. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it's
a forgivable sin today because
it-
I take so much poetic license with I make up talents, make up
Sure.
people. You know, it's a lot of fiction.
yeah. I mean, that is a lot of
Yeah.
writing.
Pretty funny though.
Yeah, that's really funny.
I don't know that was literally my first. It's probably the first one that I would claim as a song. It had an A part and a B part. It even had a bridge. So
Oh, that's good.
Maybe it was the first.
Do you do songs from early in your writing these days?
Not many.
Yeah.
I find them very different than what I do.
Yeah,
now.
sure. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's
we grow and change. I know I have.
Sure.
I changed the way I write. And
well. I mean, it's also with writing, you kind of have to live it a little bit before you can write about it too. I mean, and things do change in your life. You know.
a lot has changed
Yeah.
since I began. I mean, I wasn't married. I got married. I'm divorced. I've been in a
Sure.
relationship. After that ended, I'm in a new relationship.
Yeah.
So it's almost like looking at things from different perspectives, the
And
same
it's-
things.
And it's great for songwriting.
It absolutely.
You know, I mean,
Some of those songs that I do play some older stuff, like when I was newly married.
Right.
And no, that's 20.
Oh,
years
yeah.
old.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
you know, it's not like we don't. Well, it's not like I don't go back in the catalog. I do, but some of them I think I wrote with a very linear idea of telling a story.
Right.
And I had the story in my head, and now I very much write like I get a glimpse of a character, I hear a line. Listen to the waves, darling.
yeah,
Listen to the way it goes. And then I would spend the rest of the weekend figuring out who would say such a thing and under
Right.
what's the. I kind of say it's like looking through a dirty window, and I take a rag,
try to clear it up.
and I never get it completely clear. I'm not making a photograph.
Right.
I'm writing an artful
Sure.
vignette about
Right.
that. I tell some of it and leave enough for their listener.
For imagination.
for mine and yours, hopefully
Yeah.
yours too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I guess when you started out, it was basically inspiration, and now you've moved to the craft of it too as you get older. I mean, I think if you stay with it long and have very much success, you have to learn the craft at some point.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people do not want to do, or people leave it because there is a craft to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it still has to have some inspiration, but it's as much craft, or maybe even more craft, than it is inspiration.
That Picasso quote speaks
Yeah, that's
to
a
me
good
so
one,
much.
yeah.
The one idea that,
Go
inspiration
ahead.
is real.
Go ahead. Repeat it here for the
Oh,
listeners.
sure. Yeah, so as far as I have heard, Picasso said inspiration is real, but it must catch you working.
Yeah, that's the
And
truth.
so if you're at the workbench tinkering on your craft,
Right.
and I'll just be strumming a phrase, I'll strum in a chord progression, and I hear a melody, and I don't have words in my head. I just go sing what I call idiot lyrics.
Yeah.
I sing sounds, and sometimes the sound is the genesis of the song.
Right.
Who just said that? Like, listen to the waves, darling. Listen
Right.
to the way it goes. Under what circumstances would a person say that to another person, or is he talking to himself? And that is the process. That
You're one of the few songwriters that I've heard. So I used to play with a guy who always wrote his melodies first, and, and had the whole thing, and then he would hum or sing along with it till he found words that would match up, which has always seemed awkward to me. Yeah. But then I've been a writer first most of my life, so it's a little easier for me to write it and then add the music to it.
I think it's like, the way people at the potter's wheel slap clay on and then shave clay off. Yeah. To me, it feels like it's that tinkering process that it gets built as it goes, and as it's starting to take you, oh, okay, it's cool like this, it's not like that. And
are you a regional writer, or do you write for just total life? Overall.
I love to just dive into characters. I work in the mental health and addictions field, so a lot of like down and out folks. I drive by some angle. That guy with one leg pushing a shower. Right. What's his deal? Right. And then that guy will just stay in my head all weekend. Right. And I'll have to. It's just an empathic response to. Sure. Wonder what his deal is. Wonder what your deal is. Yeah. Gotcha. I think we probably as artists we all do that.
Plus, I'm sure you have people in your line of work that you can take a lot of stuff from. That's
everybody just gonna run through the PA system.
Will you
guitars?
Yeah, we run through the PA. We got everything.
Hey, Lori.
We got no unless you just got one.
That was a total. Did you start playing guitar at 20? I mean,
I didn't play guitar at 20.
Yeah. Were you? Have you worked yourself hard, or is that just a writing tool for you?
It probably is more the latter, more writing tool. Yeah. I was writing stories and poems in my teens, and I was a blues. I wanted to be a blues player.
I spent my life as one, as you can see. So
I picked up the guitar initially as a function of trying to find. What if that's the medium that writing will blossom out? And I would say it did. I still write stories. I still write poetry, vignettes, little things. But song seems to be the bite-sized nugget that makes sense. And there's lots of. A 3-minute song will never tell the whole story of anything. So there's lots of air and mystery, which I love more now than I used to. I want to tell a story. Now I want to explore a space. Right.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good way to do it. Yeah. I mean, that's that's the thing. Is you think that it's easy to write a song, but you have to get it done in 4 lines and a chorus, maybe a bridge, and that's kind of hard to tell a good story in that frame. Yeah.
So I always say it's not an Ansel Adams landscape photograph. It's an emotional soil sample of that place.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a deep dive into a small place.
I like that.
If it's vivid, it would make you want to wonder what's around that place. But you by no means are writing that whole landscape.
Can't.
I've never tried to.
Yeah, you can't. Not in. That's why you're a songwriter, not a novelist. I mean, and to find the words that make that work too is, you got to be part wordsmith too, which is.
You said in 2 couplets.
Yeah. And you have to be able to paint some type of picture for someone to get. That's pretty cool. So how often do you play? You have a band, right?
I do. We hardly ever play these days. COVID, so not a big chunk. We had 2 to 3 steady gigs a month. Right. But those are. One was a 17-year experience I had at one coffee shop. I played every 4th Saturday with my band. 17 years.
That's great.
Yeah. And
it's a house job, basically.
I loved it. I really kind of grew up there as a songwriter. I mean, all 3 of my full-length albums came out and had during that time. Yeah. And they would, they loved me. They would put CDs of mine next to the cash register, and I'd come into a gig and they'd hand me an envelope and say we sold 4. Yeah. I mean that's the. I just felt loved there.
That's the Scott Miller story. If you know who Scott is.
I do.
Scott, Scott's done the podcast, but his thing was, yes, damn it, Scott's here again.
Right.
And so being in one place does that. Helps you in a lot of ways. It helps bring people to your music.
Right.
And
And logging hours on the
well,
craft.
yeah,
You know,
I
because
agree.
there's the craft of performing,
Sure.
like you pointed out earlier, that is separate from the craft of
Oh
writing.
yeah,
You
it's
could be a
it's
good
totally
writer and a struggling performer.
sure. I know tons of good writers that
Yeah.
I would tell you, and I know a ton of performers that I would tell you, yeah, they need to find them better songs, you know,
I'm with you.
or don't be a songwriter, you know, get someone, find you a songwriter.
They're very rare, like Richard Thompsons of the world, that are
Yeah.
flashy, amazing guitar
Sure.
players, but also amazing.
Sure.
Jason Isbell's another one.
Yeah, Jason Isbell. Yeah.
But those people are rare
They are.
stars.
They are
The rest
rare.
of us are in
And
the
that's
sky.
and that is why they're stars. I mean, make no doubt about it. They're a
Amen.
complete package, and you know it's that's rare.
Yeah.
I mean, for all of those, you get a Towns Van Zandt who could barely play a guitar. You know,
Right. Barely stand up.
yeah, barely stand up, barely play a guitar. But you know, it's there's a lot of latitude though in songwriters, and you know it is there's so many forms of music that and one of the things I have learned is no matter how bad you think a band is or a songwriter, somewhere there's somebody going, that's the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
You know? And I found that a lot of that between, you know, with doing these podcasts.
Yeah.
Some of them that I would think, I can't judge them anymore, but, you know, some of them that I would think, man, this is great.
Yeah.
Or this is horrible, nobody will listen to it. And it'll jump. You know, they'll jump in listeners and somebody will send me a text, man, I need to know that person. And it's like, okay, you know. So it varies, but it's a good craft.
It's a wide playing field, I think, and I grew up playing a lot of sports. I still play disc golf and senior softball.
Sure.
Pretty competitively.
I like to play disc golf, yeah.
And those things, you know, there's a clear. You made the putt, you did.
Yeah.
You beat. You know, you had the better round, I did.
Sure.
And songwriting is about as opposite of that as it can
True.
be. There's 1,000 different flavors of a
Yeah,
good song.
there is. There is.
There's 1,000 different ways to play a guitar.
There is. Yeah.
And, I love, you know, that's part of. I think that inclusiveness and that lack of rules fit my rebellious kind of
That's good.
nature.
Yeah. And, you know, that there again, too, there is, as personalities go, songwriters are as varied as they come.
Yeah.
You'll see somebody and you'll think, there's no way that guy could have written those songs, you know? And then you'll see other people think, yeah, he's a songwriter. He's not a songwriter.
But
So,
people used to ask me, "Are you?" You know, I'd see me carry the guitar. Are you a musician? And
Yeah.
I would sometimes say, "No, I'm a songwriter."
yeah, I still,
I don't pretend to be a fancy
I
guitar
mean,
player.
I still, when people ask me, I would tell you that, yeah, I'm more of a writer than I am than a player, you know.
I would fall on that side of the
Sure.
continuum.
I mean, so you want to talk about? You've won some awards for your songs.
Yeah, in this area.
Yeah.
Like, in North Carolina, Songwriters Cooperative was almost 20 years ago, 2004. Second album was just coming out. I was really hitting a stride as a
Right.
writer, and I felt like, hey, these characters get real vivid.
Right.
And it wasn't. I certainly wasn't raised to be arrogant, but I had this moment where I was like, the 10 finalists had played, and I might have been 7
Sure.
or 8, a couple. So I'd heard
Right.
all but a couple, and then I played mine, and like my guitar player was with me. I was like, I think we just won that.
Yeah.
And I felt that
Yeah.
in my bones.
Well,
I felt that.
In my experience, so Kerrville Songwriters Folk Festival, they brought me in as one of their new folks.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was probably the best songwriter in the world. Then I get there and I get my eyes open.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
you need to go home and practice.
Work on some
I mean, they flew me out there, and I get up there, and in my opinion, I'm the worst songwriter there. A guy was around in a camp, just around the campfire, had this song, and it was "She's in Love with the Boy," which went on to be Trisha Yearwood's. But he was just a guy by a fire, you know, and it's like, man,
Yeah.
you know, I need to go home and work this craft a lot harder. So I mean, sometimes
like-
you get those.
It's like baseball, though. You know, I would say what I do is probably single or double A baseball.
Yeah.
And then I watch the pros on TV.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty much where I'm at these days. Yeah.
I can turn a phrase, and I can say there's songs that I really love, and I think that's a good song. I can
Yeah.
feel it in my bones. And other times I go, I don't even know if I like that.
Well, and sometimes I've been terrible about songs I thought that was really great that turned out to be. I can't pick the songs of mine that I think people. I'll be surprised somebody will just really love a song that it was kind of just a.
Yeah.
You know, not one of my favorites. That happens.
I have a song that I entered in a contest that I just wasn't even going to put on a record. And somebody said, you got to put it on a record. That's the quintessential folk song.
I had a throwaway song that was recorded by 4 different people, and I hated it. I still hate that song. You know? So it's kind of weird how that works.
Yeah,
You know?
it is. Yeah.
But you just take it
sometimes
wherever you
you're
are.
just so close to it, you can't. It's
True.
just like editing.
But you got a
If you're
mic.
too close to it, you can't edit. You gotta,
Yes, I do.
You got to get
Oh,
some distance.
well, edit is everything in songwriting too. I mean,
Yeah.
that's another thing that people do not put enough time in is you have to edit. You know, that's something in a craft that people miss.
Right.
What else we need to know, Rick?
That works
It's
for
not
me.
like, it's not
Sounds
like
good. Thank you for coming and doing this.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Miss Tom.